I.A. Richards has consolidated all the salient features of this book in the preface, in which he is talking about what is a book, what is the use of the book, what is criticism, what is the role of criticism, how the book is organized, what is the danger of criticism, all these things. So in this video, I'm going to concentrate on all the important points highlighted by I.A. Richards in his preface. First, what is a book? I.A. Richards says a book can be considered as a machine. For a machine, all the small parts are very important. Like that, for a book, all the small parts are important to achieve the overall meaning. Then I.A. Richards compares a book to a loom. Loom means the small instrument that is used by weavers to weave the cloth. So here he says it can be compared to a loom on which it is supposed to reweave some raveled parts of our civilization. That is important parts of our civilization. For a weaver, the loom is very important to weave the cloth. Like that, to construct human civilization, we need book. So in the first part, I.A. Richards says the books are very important to cultivate the people, to create new and required civilization in the human society. Next, I.A. Richards points out the responsibility of a Next, I. Richards gives his views on criticism. According to him, criticism is an endeavor to discriminate between experiences and to evaluate them. So we have different experiences while reading a book. So the objective of criticism is to discriminate which experience is good and which experience is ordinary. Then he further adds, we cannot do this without some understanding the nature of experience or without theories of valuation and communication. So look at the first point. The first point says the objective of criticism is evaluating or discriminating our experiences. But the second point says, but that evaluation cannot take place without understanding the nature of experience or valuing those experiences by some theories. He says such principles must be taken from these more fundamental studies. So what is the fundamental studies? That is criticism. So we have a book, so the critics should analyze it properly so that the book will give the right benefit to the. Then he talks about something about this book. So it is a self-criticism. According to I.A. Richards, so if a person reads this book, for a more literary reader, he says it will be appear a dry and uninviting tract. So at the beginning of the book itself, I.A. Richards warns this book will be very dry and it will not be interesting to read. Then I.A. Richards says something about critics. So a book is important in a society, criticism is important in a society. Then he says what should be the quality of the critics. He says critics and even theorists in criticism currently assume that their first duty is to be moving, to excite in the mind emotions appropriate to their august subject matter. So here I.A. Richards points out the misunderstanding about the role of critics. Some critics want to create or some critics want to incite emotions in the mind of the reader through their writing. But according to I.A. Richards, it is wrong. He plainly declines the idea because the objective of a book is maybe creating the emotions. But a criticism need not create the same emotion. Here, one concern of I.A. Richards is some words have little or no emotive power. Next, I.A. Richards points out the possible danger that may occur in the process of writing a book. What is that? He says, the mixed modes of writing, which enlist the reader's feelings as well as thinking, are becoming dangerous to the modern consciousness. The important factors, according to I.A. Richards, if you want to appeal the emotions of the readers, you go for creative writing. If you want to appeal the thinking of the readers, you go for critical writing. So do not try to mix these two, because that will be a dangerous thing. Then he says, thought and feeling are able to mislead one another at present. So this may be possible before 1,000 years, according to him. But nowadays, according to I.A. Richards, the thought and feeling are completely different. They mislead each other. Then he says, we need a spell of purer science and purer poetry before the two can again be mixed. So here one historical fact is pointed out by I.A. Richards, that is, once all the knowledge was recorded in the form of poetry. So the science was recorded in the form of poetry, but now they have become two different disciplines. But if we need pure poetry and pure science, it needs more time. So at least he says it may take another hundreds of years to mingle together. Then when he published the same book, Principles of Criticism, for the second time, at that time he has added a few more topics. The first topic he added was the second edition, a note on Eliot's poetry. So the important factor is, he says that Eliot's poetry elucidates purity and value. Please make a note of it. According to I.A. Richards, whose poetry has purity and has value? It is Eliot's poetry. Then he says, between the possession of ideas and their application, there is a gulf. So here, the writer I.A. Richards points out his inability to translate his ideas into writing. Then this is the interesting fact. So he says, at the end of the book, he says, I couldn't write, or I couldn't express whatever I thought. So I have written a companion volume to this book. Possible question. So what is the companion volume of Principles of Literary Criticism? I.A. Richards. So here there are 35 different chapters available in this book. They are the chaos of critical theories, how critical theories can be confusing, the phantom aesthetic state. So a free video on this is available in our channel. You can go through it. Then the language of criticism, which language is appropriate for criticism. Then communication and the artist, how does the artist communicate to the readers and viewers effectively. Then the critics concerned with value. So whenever there is a work of art, there is always a dichotomy between the critics concern about the value, then value as an ultimate idea. Finally, what is more important in a work of art? Is it idea or a value? Then a psychological theory of value. Then it goes like that. So eighth one, art and morals. Then actual and possible misrepresentations. Poetry for poetry's sake. Please make a note of it. So the 10th topic, poetry for poetry's sake, is one of the most debated critical writing. Then a sketch for psychology. Then pleasure. The topics go like that. Then the last but one topic was the two uses of language. This is also very formal write exam.